ahead, let's proceed.
Even going into the draft situation, what did you feel your chances were of working yourself into the draft and that sort of thing?
Aside from believing myself, I just wanted to see, one, what teams would be interested in working me out, you know, and giving me feedback, and two, the feedback that they gave me, whether it was, you know, being able to come back to school or not, you know, what I need to work on regardless of what choice I made. So that was kind of what I narrowed it down to.
What was the most useful piece of advice or feedback you got during this process?
They really want me to be a better rebounder. They want me to be a better distributor of the ball. My assist to turnover ratio, most of all, was probably like one of the lowest parts of my game this past season. So that's something I need to work on. Also, need to work on, you know, just overall conditioning. You know, I've been working this past off season, you know, really getting myself and focusing like on my condition, my wind, and making sure I can play as many minutes as I need.
Did you go
Our
in?
team needs.
Did you go in really not expecting to be drafted or to work yourself into that? But like you said, just wanting to find out.
I honestly didn't know what to expect, but you know, I just made the most of it.
Now that you've done it and made a decision, how glad are you that you did go through it and get that feedback and to help you for next year?
It gives me a clearer vision of, like, you know, what it takes to be on that level, you know, and being exposed to the training out there and like, you know, how in shape you have to be is really important. Take that into the season. I think we have a lot of potential.
Did you have some workouts? Did you have kind of take us through the process of some of the stuff that maybe you went through the last couple months?
So my first team was the Atlanta Hawks, and their workout was about hour 15, hour and a half, and they do a lot of competitive segments. I worked out with them. I worked out with Oklahoma City Thunder. I worked out with Boston Celtics and the Knicks, and you know, I was supposed to work out with LA, but something happened. But I was just getting training other than that. But their workouts, you know, they're about either an hour or hour and a half, you know, along the lines of that.
What was the conversation like with Mac when you told him you were coming back to school?
You know, it was a good conversation. I think we were on the same page about things. I gave him full insight on, you know, all the feedback that I had received, and also him, like, because the teams, they contact him as well as me, like, you know, after the workouts and stuff like that. So we had a pretty good conversation as I told him I was coming back.
Were you surprised that Jordan came back, or what were your thoughts on that?
Me and Jordan were kind of in contact throughout this whole process. You know, I'm really close with him, so you know, he was just telling me, like, updating me about stuff, and like, I want to say, I was in my head, I was thinking, like, you know, regardless of what happens, he's gonna, like, you know, go pro because of how much he produced on the court this past season. But, you know, him coming back, it only helps us that much more to get to Atlanta, where I feel like we all can make it to.
Did you two have that discussion with each other, saying, hey, if we both come back, this could really be something special? Did you talk about that at all?
Definitely. That was, you know, it was just a lot of stuff we talked about. That was one of them, though.
How do you feel like you can improve your playing relationship with Jordan? I mean, how you two play off each other? Where does that change?
For one, I feel like he could stop stealing my rebounds. Nah, but other than that, you know, we have a pretty good chemistry. Like, we know we're both offensively gifted, most of all, and you know, if we can find a way to really use that when we're both on the court this next season, I feel like we're going to be fine. And I feel like we found ways this past season to you know, work with each other and make sure we get the best out of each other's game.
Coach said you came back more motivated than he's ever seen you. I mean, what's going to drive you to get to the NBA? Is that going to be your focus during the year, or what? Talk about the increased motivation.
You know, throughout this process, it's like you get the little email from the advisory committee of the NBA, and then they give you all the information. So after receiving that, I feel like that was a big part of my motivation coming back to school. And then the feedback, you know, I'm just like a real believer in like constant and never-ending improvement. So, so I feel like, you know, with the feedback that I've been given, that's the only thing I want to like really focus on, because you know, if you narrow your focus down, you know, everything, the time goes by quickly. So, I want to make sure that I get on top of those.
Things you mentioned earlier about, you know, needing to improve rebounding and passing, was that consistent from all the teams that you worked out for, or was there someone in particular who told you that?
Scouts. You know, the scouts of every team that I worked out with. You know, they all covered that area that I told y'all today. But yeah, everybody has said that to me.
Steven, you talked about conditioning. Is it strength? Is it more conditioning, or what do you want to be better at? More like
end-to-end conditioning, more than it is strength conditioning, because you know, nobody's really pushing you around, and I feel like if I can combine that with you know, being able to play 40 minutes, then it'll all work in my favor.
With Aiden coming in, though, you should, you know, not necessarily have to play as much as you did last season. How do you view that now that you guys have a little more depth than you did last year?
Can you repeat that?
With Aiden coming in, you know, and able to come off the bench and play some more minutes than maybe Okoye was able to last year, seems like you could not have to play as many minutes as you did. Maybe get some more breaks in there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like Aiden coming in is just going to help us. Like, you know, Okoye helped us a lot, but I feel like Aiden can help us even more because of he's very gifted, and I can't wait for him to get here in July so we can work together. He also will help us as bigs get better. You know, me and Malik, you know, we pushed each other this past season, but having that third person that can like do as much as we can, and even more with his athleticism and physicality, I feel like it'll help us that much more. Because, like, you know, Coach Pegues, he always talks about how iron sharpens iron, and the more we can push each other, like the higher we can push each other to go, the better. The better production we'll get, like on the court once the season starts.
Anything else? No? Great.
Thanks, Steve.
No problem. Appreciate y'all.
That's it.